The Golden Goose. Once upon a time, there lived a woodman who had 3 sons. The first 2 sons were very smart, but the 3rd son was not. He was not so smart and was very quiet, and his family members always teased him. One day, the eldest son went to the woods with some bread and some wine that the mother had given him. In the woods, there was a small old man sitting on a stump. The eldest son came passing by. "Please, sir, can you give me something to eat? I only brought food enough for myself. Now be off." Ignoring the old man's request, the eldest son went past him and got ready to chop down a tree. But when the eldest son swung the axe swung to his arm instead and cut him. The eldest son held his arm in pain and ran quickly back home to get some help. Since the eldest son was hurt, the second son went into the woods with some bread and some wine. "Please, sir, can you give me something to eat? If I share my food, I won't have enough strength to chop down a tree. Be off." The second son also ignored the old man and went past him to chop down a tree. But when the second son swung the axe swung to his leg instead and cut him. The second son dragged his leg all the way back to his house in pain. Since the older sons were hurt, the youngest son went into the woods with a little bit of bread and some beer. Because the older sons could not go into the woods, the youngest son was sent. The family did not expect him to be successful since he was not so smart. "Please, sir, can you give me something to eat? I only have this, but please have it." The youngest son was very kind and gave the small old man all the bread and the beer that he had. The small old man regained his strength after he finished eating. "Thank you. In return, I would like to give you something. Please cut down that tree." Saying this, the old man left. Without delay, the youngest son started chopping down the tree. Suddenly, he saw something shining by the roots. He looked closely and saw a golden goose. The sun had already set, so the youngest son took the golden goose with him and decided to stay the night at an inn in the town. "Good evening. Let me stay the night." The innkeeper had 3 daughters. When the daughters saw the golden goose, they were all surprised. "Wow, what beautiful feathers! And it's made of gold!" The daughters really wanted some feathers from the golden goose. The next morning, the 3 daughters snuck quietly into the youngest son's room. The eldest daughter reached out her hand to pluck out one of the feathers from the golden goose when her hand got stuck on its bottom. The second daughter tried to pull her sister off from the golden goose and grabbed her, but she too got stuck. Then the youngest daughter also tried to help, but she got stuck as well. "Good morning." The youngest son picked up the golden goose and was leaving the inn when the 3 daughters who were stuck came along. The youngest son carried the golden goose this way and that, to the left and to the right. The 3 daughters who were stuck to the golden goose also went this way and that, to the left and to the right. Then a pastor came by. "What is this commotion? It is still morning." The pastor put his hand on the youngest daughter's shoulders when his hand got stuck. "What is happening? My hand is stuck. I am going to be late for my prayer time." The servant who came to help, too, got stuck. Then the farmer who came to help the servant, too, got stuck. It looked like there was a parade of some sort. Meanwhile, in the castle was a princess who had never laughed ever since the day she was born. The king was worried about the princess and officially proclaimed that whoever could make the princess laugh could marry her. This same princess had been watching that silly parade from her castle's window and chuckled. The next moment, the hands that were stuck came suddenly loose and everyone fell over on each other. Again, the princess had been watching and started laughing out loud. "My dear princess is laughing." There was a great celebration in the castle as well. The king called for the youngest son to the castle immediately. "Thank you for making my princess laugh. Please marry her." This is how the youngest son with a kind heart got to marry the princess. The princess started to laugh a lot after that, and they lived happily ever after. The end.